See all of your chakras now in perfect alignment, their respective colors, their spinning, and their vibrational resonance. Resonating to the beat within you, to the resonance within you, all coming together as one. All the chakras working together. See that now. Feel that. Now become aware of your high heart center, just above your fourth chakra, that magenta area, and your sixth chakra in the middle of your forehead, and energetically connect the two by simply intending energy going from your high heart center to your third eye and back down again and around and around. Think it, visualize it, see the energies forming a vortex that is pulling now your conscious knowing self into it. And your conscious knowing self now has a little ball of light now, is now in your third eye area, in the middle of your forehead, looking out through that third eye, as if you were looking out through a door or a window out into the astral world. Let yourself now exit through that door or that window. Exit out through your third eye, so that you are now in the room, aware of your body sitting or laying there, as being separate from you, but also still connected to you. Now also become aware of your Merkaba light vehicle or your light body. And if you don't know what the Merkaba is or the Merkaba is, see it as a three-dimensional six-pointed star or dual tetrahedron. That is your light body. It has always been there. You just have lost connection to it. Now reconnect with it. Move into it as if it were a small ship, small three-dimensional six-pointed star that is also a ship as well. For those that are aware of that movie Contact, that is somewhat what this would be like. Spinning as it was in that movie, depicting the Merkaba, light vehicle, or your light body, in which you can travel through other dimensions, to any other areas, even in the three-dimensional space. See yourself now in that Merkaba light body, rising upward, rising up high up into the sky, up through the clouds, till you passed through the Earth's atmosphere into what you consider as space. And you see all of the ships that are out here, many millions and millions of ships that surround the entire Earth, surround Gaia. You can look back down, you can see the Earth, you can see your physical body laying or sitting down there. But still be up here, have a viewpoint that those galactics here in the ships have as they look back down on the Earth, as they watch and view everything that's happening on the planet, the surface of the planet, below the planet. As you have become aware of, from this viewpoint now, look out and see all of the sacred places, the sacred spaces, the power points all around the planet. Pyramids to Stonehenge to various sacred mountains such as Mount Shasta, Sedona area, places in Australia and Africa, the Middle East, throughout Europe, many such places where there now stand churches or military bases, or those that have known for a very long time, have known to be able to take these power spaces, known where they were, and they built their structures upon these spaces. Even the ancients says they built the pyramids there and other sacred structures. And for a long time, in the advent of the Dark Ages, these power centers had been taken over, creating a grid of energy, dark energy. This grid of dark energy replaced the grid of light that was there previously. Or again, they knew how to bring the dark over the light. But as you all know, the dark can never extinguish the light. But the light can certainly illuminate the dark. That is what is happening now. As you look out at all of these sacred spaces that are now becoming places of light, of love, higher consciousness, bringing a oneness to the entire planet. So visualize now all of these sacred places, these power points across the planet. Simply become aware of them. Not each an individual one, but as a collective. And see them sending energy, even electricity, from one to the other, until it surrounds the entire planet with electrical energy, consciousness energy, light, spreading everywhere. And as you look at it from the point of view that you are looking down at Gaia, you see what it forms. It forms the flower of life. Creation itself. Now, if you would, see that what comes from this consciousness grid that is now over the entire planet, spreading everywhere, see it becoming the violet flame as well. The violet flame rising from these power points, creating one huge flame, violet flame over the entire planet. So that the flame itself is engulfing the planet now. And this flame, and the flame of consciousness, and the flame of love, and all is consumed by this flame. All of the earth, all of the people, the animals, the plants, becoming consumed. And the old, all of the old is being burnt away. Just as a fire, as it burns a forest, the forest, the old, is burned away. The new springs forth, the new greenery, almost immediately. See that happening now. See the old paradigm, the old programming that has enveloped the earth in fear, in hatred, in judgment. See it all being replaced by love. Love that conquers all. As a result of this, and as a result of the coming wave, or rather the waves of energy that have been coming, and the one that is still yet to come, is a beam or a pulse of energy that originates from the great central source of the universe through all of the galactic suns throughout the universe into the galactic sun of this universe or of this galaxy, all of the solar systems in the galaxy, and finally down to the earth. See that wave of energy, the event, solar flash, will come as a flash from the sun of this solar system, from the solar logos. That flash, joining together with the violet flame, will end the old ways, bring an end to the dark ages, will bring on the new dawn of the golden age or the Aquarian age. See it happening now. In this moment, visualize it. See it in your mind's eye, your third eye, wide open. Know that as it is happening in your third eye, it is coming into creation. You are creating it as a collective. You are creating it together. Just as you are reconnecting the consciousness grid around the planet, just as you are enveloping the earth, Gaia, the violet flame, to purge out all the old negatives, so too are you bringing this solar flash, this pulse of energy that brings a changeover to the entire planet, to all the people on the planet, to all of the animals, the plant life, and even the mineral life. One more thing now. See the crystalline consciousness grid and the electricity that is passing all around the planet. The violet flame superimposed upon it. See that those electrical charges coming into each and every one of you. Feel those energies, feel those electrical charges coming into your astral body, your etheric, your causal, your mental bodies, and your physical body as well. All connected to this grid, for you are connected to this grid. always have been. Now, if you would allow yourselves to find your way back, if you left your Merkaba light vehicle temporarily, find your way back into it, as if again it were a small ship. Travel back down now in it to your physical body, merge it with your physical body. Know that it is a shield that will not allow anything of negative vibration to penetrate it. As long as you are aware of it, as long as you are aware of the power within you and the light within you, nothing can penetrate higher vibrations within your being. Come back now into a complete state of consciousness and circulation, fully revitalized and refreshed. I am Saint Germain. As always, it is a pleasure to be here with you in these times, in these moments that you find yourself in now. These times of fear that are spreading across the planet in many ways. For those of the cabal, the dark forces, are doing everything they can to spread that fear, to increase the fear if they can. Those of you, the Lightworkers and Warriors, are there to stop that spread. You are there to hold that fear back, first within yourselves, and then as you do it within yourselves, you do it for others around you as well. For they will not feel the fear within you, they'll feel the love, the light within you, the oneness that you spread. That is how this great changeover is happening. That is what is calling forth the great event, the solar flash. You are calling it forth, each and every one of you, by your actions, each and every moment, and your thought processes. Control your thoughts, and you control the creation or the creative ability within you. Control your fears, and you bring about light and love. Each and every one of you have the power within you. It has always been there. It is there now, in this moment, right now. That power is there within you. All you need to do is become aware of it. And raise it up as you raise the vibrations within you. And know that as you raise the vibrations within you and the subsequent power within you, nothing can interfere with that power. Nothing can take the light from you unless you allow it to. All of you need to trust. You need to trust in yourselves. You need to trust in your knowings. You need to trust in the memories, the remembrances that are coming back to you. As you realize that everything around you is false. Everything you are being told by those of your media, by those of your governmental sources, with some exceptions, everything is false. But you, each one of you, know the truth within you. It is there. You just need to find it again. And then rise in your power. and reach out and literally help someone in any way that you can. Share what you know when you are given the opportunity. Show as the ideal for others to follow. It is not about whether you wear a mask or not. It is not about whether you practice the 6-foot distance or whatever it might be or not. It is about showing the power that you have within you, the independence within you, that you will not give in. And if your way to do that is to not wear a mask amidst all of those that are, all of those that are showing that they are being controlled, you yourself can step forward and say, I cannot be controlled. I am in my power. And if you do that, each and every one of you on these calls, each and every one of you that resonate to these words after, whether reading or listening, if you do that, then nothing can stop you from spreading that light, that love, that higher consciousness, showing the vibration within you to others, and to encourage them to rise within their own power and find that light, that flame that is smoldering within them, ready to be awakened at a moment's notice. For many, many more coming forward now, their alarm clocks, just as yours did, will awaken them. It is destined that they become awakened just as you have. But you are the catalyst for this. You must come to understand that. Many will not awaken on their own. They need a catalyst. They need someone to step forward and show them the way. There are many across your planet that are doing so. Many that have stepped forth and utilized your social media in various inventive ways and are encouraging thousands, even millions, to follow their word, their knowing. You know who they are. You follow them yourselves. But I am here as Saint Germain now to tell you not just to be a follower, become a leader, if not in words, in truth, as you show it forth. Now is the time, my friends, to come out of the cocoon and rise up now as the butterflies. Rise up now as one together, just as the founding fathers of this country did. Just as many across the entire planet, many in other countries, are beginning more and more to do as well. For the old ways, the old programming, the old paradigm must fall apart. It must be brought down. And you are the ones to bring it down. Not in fighting, not in anger, not in hatred, but in light and love. Come out of your shells, come out of your caves, and step out into the sunshine, step out into the light, and illuminate the darkness everywhere that you are able to. I am Saint Germain, and I leave you now in peace and love and oneness, and implore you to utilize the violet flame, which is a tool, one of the many tools that you have been given back to use in your crusade to spread and share the light everywhere. Peace and love be with all of you. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om. Greetings to you. One who serves here, Shoshana here. And what a wonderful message, speech, whatever you want to call it, from Saint Germain. He was on it here. And we're going to tell you that there are going to be others that are going to be coming through this one in the times ahead here. It is being planned here, and we're just giving you fair warning here, because there are some coming that are going to bring different expression here in some ways, because it is time. It is time for an awakening. Even yet an awakening within this group itself. That is coming, and it is coming because of those things which are happening across the planet in many, many ways, as fear is spreading and control is spreading. But you, those of you, are the ones that can stop this control. You can do this together with all of those others that Saint Germain spoke of, those ones that have stepped forward. You know of those ones that are on your social media. They are there. They are spreading the light. They're spreading the truth whenever they can. And you can do so too in other ways. It does not have to be where you step out in front of the television screen or your computer screens, but it can be, if that is what you want to do. You can become, or you already are, those way showers. So just be who you are, and everything will begin to come to you. Your guidance will come to you in various ways. And just as for those that were on this journey just recently here in Mount Shasta and other places, just as they were shown the areas to go, they were guided because they opened up to it. Just as they were able to do that, so too can you allow your guidance to come in and show you the way, show you what you need to do to help to spread the light, to become the warriors of light, the missionaries of light even here. That is what is ahead for you, and that is what is coming for this group as we continue to prepare you for what is ahead for this group and other groups as well that are being marshaled, we will say, together to move to the next steps that are necessary as you come closer and closer to this next election. This next election, which is a paramount election, not only here for this country, but for the entire planet, for all of the peoples of this world. All are going to be influenced greatly by this election as it comes and as it goes, and as the continuing process occurs after this election, which is going to bring about freedom. That is what this is all about, bringing freedom to this country and to the entire planet. we are ready for your questions. Shoshana is ready here as well. Do you have questions here? You can unmute your phones if you have not already, and we are ready for your questions here. Anyone have? Yes.
This is Lorelei, dear one who serves in Shoshana. So I guess I'll pipe in on this issue that was on my mind a little bit. When Ruth Bader Ginsburg passed away, I was pretty much jumping for joy. I hate to say it. I was sitting there with my mother, and I was like, yes, yes. And I thought afterwards that probably was not my very best, most charitable response. But I guess I kind of was like in the moment of really thinking that we could now get a Supreme Court justice that was of light, and she wasn't. I didn't feel like she was of light. I could be wrong, but it didn't occur that way to me. Well, anyway, I just felt kind of bad about it afterwards, and I thought, is there a way that I can kind of make up with the spirit of Ruth Bader Ginsburg? Is there a way when we make a gaffe like that, because everybody is in their core, coming from the divine, is there a way to sort of like cancel that or make up for that?
First of all, dear sister, you do not need to be concerned about doing that. You are who you are, and in those moments you had a certain response. And that response is somewhat normal for your various situations. We would give you another example. What if the same thing happened with another, such as your Hillary Clinton or others here, we would say, if this were to occur? The first response or reaction might be the same type that you had here. But the one thing that you want to avoid here in these types of situations is feeling guilt. Do not feel guilt. It is a response that you have. Then you can turn around and realize that everyone carries light. They all have light within them. Whether the light is predominant over the darkness or the darkness predominant over the light, that is dependent on their particular journey at this point. As you know, many of you, all of you in various respects over your many lifetimes here, have played that role as well. You have played the role of being on the dark side, being the infiltrator into the dark side. You have all done this, and you have come out of it, and you find yourselves in the light this lifetime, but there are those that are playing their roles as well in being those infiltrators into the dark, where they can bring a little bit of light here and there in certain circumstances. And this one that you speak of, we find that in some cases, that is exactly what she did. In some circumstances, she brought light. In others, she was surrounded and taken in by the dark forces as well. Okay? Shoshana, do you have anything you add here?
We can share. We can share our perspective with you, dear sister, if you wish.
Yes, please.
Dear sister, as we were listening to One Who Serves, we have a very similar message, but you asked for a tool. How do you come to terms with your thoughts? How do you neutralize your experience? And it is simple. It is simple to recognize that all that are here and all that have left are participating in this great awakening. That this one that passed had a very difficult life. She stood for principles that she believed were the true principles of humanity. She was part of the awakening, and her job was to be a soldier in this process of awakening. And she was influenced in many ways by the drama of the third dimensional process, and she still held fast to her beliefs, never wavering. So your situation is to simply see all that participate as soldiers, and that they and their influence left to all of us were purposeful, was purposeful process. Does this make sense to you?
Yes, thank you.
Namaste.
Very good. Are there other questions? Any other questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
I had a quick dream this morning early that I was in a bathroom situation, and Trump was there at the window, at the mirror. Sorry, and he was preparing. He was getting ready. He had a suit on, and I was in the bathtub for some reason, not ready at all. So, and that was about it. I just wondered, other than the obvious, he was getting ready for something, he had a dark suit on, but I was somehow connected, which is what I see the bathtub as, perhaps a way of connecting to the higher mind. I just wondered if there's any other message there, please.
First of all, did you say the window or mirror?
Mirror, sorry, he's in the
Very
mirror.
Good. Very good. Then whenever there is a mirror involved in your dream situation, that is looking at a reflection of yourself. So the president, Trump here, that was in this mirror reflection is a portion of you, and how he represents for you in your life. That is what we would say here as far as that part. And the bathtub, as you are saying, was it filled with water?
Yes, it was. I was in it.
That is, of course, your second chakra here. And it is indication of something that needs to occur in your second chakra area. You can do some research into what the various chakras refer to here. But your second chakra is a pleasure, more of your pleasure center here. Your first chakra is safety and security. Your second is about pleasure, finding joy in your life. And this is indicative of things that have been quite closed down in your areas here in terms of your lockdowns and all of these things. And you are not finding the joy in life at this point. Does this make sense to you?
I understand it. In terms of me not feeling my joy, I think I am more than I ever have, probably at least consciously. But yeah, there's certainly being affected by a lot of everybody around me practically with masks on.
Yes. Yes, Shoshana.
We wish to share. May we share?
Yes, please.
Dear sister, we have a somewhat different perspective on this, and we would like to share this with you. The water that is in the bathtub is representative of spirit, and the bathroom is representative of exposure. So, and then the one known as Trump that is peering through the mirror is representative of both of those things, as this one that you all know as the Trump is exposing spirit to all. He is exposing the spiritual side of the world as he trudges through this chaotic third dimensional drama. His job is to expose spirit and to bring us back to oneness, you see. So this was very prophetic in our perspective, that you would see those things and at an intuitive level understand his job is to expose spirituality. Namaste.
Wonderful perspective.
Namaste. Thank you. Namaste.
Would there be other questions here?
I have a question. Greetings. I read a post from the one known as Cobra about the 21st. There's a Saturn conjunction of something, and the deep state are going to try to enforce a second wave of COVID lockdowns and implement more control. And I'm wondering how much more control can they actually do? Do you have any kind of insight on this second wave control from the cabal to lock us down more than we're already locked down?
Their plan, we will say here, is exactly as you are saying. But their plan is not going to work exactly as they are wanting, just as it has not up to this point. They have achieved some control here, we will say here, across the planet. But that control is waning more and more here now. And it is going to continue to do so, even though they attempt in various ways to bring about the changes that they are wanting, totalitarian control, draconian control here, where they spread fear and do everything that they can to realize their plan for the world, where they can literally take over the planet here. That is what they have wanted, many of them. Not all of them, but many of them. But they are not united in their plan, and this is why, one of the reasons why their plan is destined to fail here, because they are not together on this. There are many different factions, we will say here, that are fighting against each other to bring about the plan that they had for the human race. But it is not to be. So do not be concerned about this. See things as they are coming into the light here, not further into the darkness. Intend for the light to spread, not for the darkness to come back, you see. See the dark receding away as the light continues to illuminate everything in its path. Okay? Shoshana?
We will share. May we share?
Yes, sister.
Dear sister, this is one more attempt, you see. This is the last breath, the last attempt of these evil cabal to take control. They are losing. They are being defeated. So we will give you the advice that you gave everyone else on this call. Put on your warrior pants, because you must stand up to these last throes of desperation and attempt to once more control, because they are losing and they know it. This is exciting that you can see these attempts. It is almost laughable to us, because they are not winning, you see. However, each and every one of you that are warriors must take up the sword, must put on the pants and rise up so that all will notice you. Namaste.
Beautiful. Namaste.
The people of this planet, the people, not of just this country, but the entire planet, will not stand for being controlled. Even the ones that are asleep are awakening because of this attempt to control. That is what you must understand here. Even though it is not happening as fast as you might want, even though the mass arrests have not fully happened, although they are happening, you just do not know it to the extent that they are occurring. It is not being publicized. But many have been taken under house arrest. They are wearing what you call those ankle bracelets, but they are not showing this. They are showing a front, especially those of your Hollywood, your actors and actresses and these types of things. They are showing a front here. Your politicians are showing a front. many of them have already been taken aside and put under control here, we will say. This is why we can say, and why Shoshana has said, they are losing. The cabal, the dark forces are losing. More and more every moment they lose some more ground, even though they attempt to gain it back with the fires, with the draconian measures of control that they are instituting in various states of this country as well as other countries. Even though they attempt to do this, this is, as Shoshana given, their last gasp. And their last gasp will come very shortly and has much to do with this election that is coming forward here. An election not only for this country, but for the entire planet. Okay?
Absolutely. Thank you. Namaste.
Yes. Any other further questions here before we release channel?
Yes, I do have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Is it possible for you to expand a little bit more on the importance of the dream or the dream state, or how important are the dreams? And is there a process or any suggestion we can do to our body or our higher self to remember the dreams?
So you are speaking in general about dreams and how to increase your dreams in terms of vivid acuity here and to find meaning within the dreams. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yes, then we would say here that your dreams, and not only this one who is asking this, we are going to direct this to all here. Your dreams are becoming more and more vivid, or will become more and more vivid as you continue to rise in vibration. As you rise in vibration, you connect more fully with those multidimensional selves that you are. And therefore, you have those types of experiences. Yes, there are messages certainly in your dreams, but that is going to become less and less as you begin to connect more and more with these multidimensional selves, again, of your being. And you will have more vivid, more experiential dreams. And you will realize, if you have not already realized, that your dream state is a real state. It is not your imagination. It is not something you are just simply dreaming up, for lack of better word here. It is something that is real. You are having a real experience in other dimensions, in other realities here. So as you continue to move through this ascension process, you will find this more and more, that they will become even more and more important to you. Your dream state will become more and more real to you. Okay, Shoshana?
You can share. We have a question for this one. May we ask a question of you, dear sister?
Yes, please.
What do you ask?
I asked to expand to get to know my other higher self, my ascended master, and connect with them. And I have read that we can do that through the dreams, and our higher self can communicate with us through the dreams. So I'm looking for expansion and getting to know and embrace my multidimensionality.
Dear sister, we have another question. Have you succeeded in this?
To be honest, I'm not sure. I have doubt.
Dear sister, may we continue to share with you?
Yes, please.
You cannot doubt. Doubt creates a challenge for the higher self and those that are your guides and those that are ascended to reach you. They cannot reach you if you doubt that they can reach you. They cannot. we would say that there are other ways, there are many ways that the higher self and the guides and the ascended masters attempt to reach all of you. Often it is a sign, it is what you call a coincidence, and you must begin to notice more and more what is going on in your life. You must listen quietly and be aware when you see the signs and put them together and believe that they are trying to reach you, because they are. And also, they are attempting to reach you in every way. They are attempting to reach all that wish to be reached. It is not only in the dream state, it is also in the meditative state. If you wish to reach your higher self, then in your meditation state, throw out a light rope, a rope of light that will be intertwined through dimensions and through time, and the higher self will reach out for that rope and connect with you, you see. It is like an umbilical cord. And that higher self will connect with you and send messages back through that rope of light to you if you are receptive to it. The only thing that stops any being from reaching those experiences is the doubt, you see. So you must really work on this doubt and give it up, because doubt is lack of belief, you see. You must attempt in every way to know that this is the truth, that they're attempting to reach you in every moment of your life. Namaste.
Yes, and always remember, believing is seeing.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Namaste.
There be any other further question here? Very good. Then we are ready to take your email question, dear sister Linda.
Yes, thank you, One Who Serves. The question is, when Trump wins his second term, will he find the need to send the military into the cities and towns to arrest cabal members and others of that kind?
What we can tell you is everything is within the plan. Everything is being orchestrated. Nothing can stop the plan, as you have been hearing again and again from many different sources. Certainly from your Q, this has come forward here. And the one that is the President, Trump, is a part of this expression with the Q in all of this. So all of this is coming to a head, we will say here, as the next, his next term, we will say here, as it begins, much will come into focus that has been out of focus up to this point. Now, it will not be the next day after. It will not even be necessarily the next week or even month as it occurs. But there will be many things that will change and continue the awakening process, because those that are on the other side, those that are more of the what you call the liberal persuasion, will do things to attempt to regain control, but they will not be able to. That is destined at this point. Now, we have gone out on a limb here, basically, and we have told you in terms of a prediction process that the one Trump is going to win the election. Now, we do not normally do this, but as you look at the probability and possibility of everything that is happening at this moment right now, that is the situation. Now, of course, something could change and skew the results here. That could happen, but it is not very likely at this point. So we cannot say that there will be the direct arrests and all of this coming right after he moves into his next term. But we can tell you that there are going to be some quite major changes that come as a result of this, leading up to all of those precursors, we will say, to the event. Okay? Shoshana?
We do not.
Nothing from Shoshana. Okay, very good. Then we are ready to release channel here. Shoshana, do you have any parting message?
We just wish to share that we are exceedingly proud of all that have joined the light movement and are living the light movement. Namaste.
Very good. And we will simply say here to continue to be within your own light, within your own power here. And do not let your power be taken from you. Do not succumb to those forces around you that attempt to lead you astray, attempt to bring you into their fold. You do not want to be a part of their fold. You do not want to be one of the sheeple here. You want to be free and independent and be the people. We the people. That is what you are working toward here. Again, the full return of the Republic of not only the United States and not only America here, but the entire world. Shanti, peace be with you. Be the one.